Welcome to Chad Hates Carbs. Today we're going to take a look at eggnog. I love eggnog. Unfortunately, everything you can buy at the store is not sugar-free. So I've been kind of getting by just making myself whipped cream with the good old combo of nutmeg and cinnamon. And it kind of works, but it's not like drinking eggnog. So I found this recipe and I have to try it. So we're going to see how this goes. So obviously we need eggs, and step one is cracking. We want 4 full eggs and then 2 yolks. So this is another way to burn yolks if you are needing to use whites for other recipes. So in this case I'm just going to save the whites in a bowl and save them for later. But we're going to go ahead and separate them out. And I'm going to do the separation first, because if I fail, then I'm okay as far as not, well, and in this case, because I don't actually need the yolks for something else, it's not as big of a deal if I fail on the yolk side. I just punctured the yolk, so I gotta get rid of it. Come on. There we go. Yep. So that yolk is punctured, so I couldn't do the other. I couldn't move it back to the other side, so probably should be using the pot. That would make sense, but I am not making sense today, I guess. Alright, and that shell broke in a very inopportune way, which is unfortunate. Alright. Close enough. There we go. So there's my 2 yolks, so now I just can do the rest of them normal. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time today. Wow, that one didn't want to come apart. It's kind of weird when the inner lining of the shell is still clinging to the other side. Always kind of envious of those guys that can crack eggs with, one in each hand and not fail miserably. Every time I try that, I end up getting egg yolks and everything. So, alright. So there's our eggs. Now, what we want to do with the eggs, obviously, we have to cook them. So this isn't something you're going to be whipping up real quick. It's a little bit more involved than you might think. But we're going to wash our hands because we don't want to get salmonella. And then we're going to go ahead and whisk these up. We'll stick them on some medium-ish heat just to kind of get it going. But then we actually have a target temp in this recipe, which I appreciate. So many recipes when you're trying to make them, they don't actually tell you they're like low heat. Made one just recently that was like low heat, and it was very difficult to try to figure out exactly what was going on. Okay, so we need a 1/2 cup of sweetener. So we're gonna 1/2 cup sweetener, and we need. This is a good time right here. Eggs and sweetener. Then we're gonna put. Looks like we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to keep that going. And it does say low heat, so I guess I better turn that down. I'm going to go ahead and put it on 3. Get it all mixed in good. And then I have to pour in 4 cups of almond milk. So, throw that away. Because that's 2 cups, 4 cups. I wonder how much is actually in here. Does it say? 1/2 gallon, if I knew my conversions. looking like I might have 4 cups in here. There's going to be like 5 cups still. There's 4 cups. I don't know. Maybe half full now. So obviously this is a little bit pricey. That's okay because it's eggnog, right? Okay. So this is one of those things where you're supposed to keep stirring it while you're pouring it in. And just pour it in kind of slow so that it gets worked in. And I don't know if almond milk curdles. Probably doesn't curdle the way that regular dairy milk curdles when you cook it, if you put it in too quick. Then again, my wife is the food scientist, not me, so. Obviously, I need more witty repartee right here. So how are you doing? Now, right now, obviously the goal here is to get this mixed in evenly, and then we're going to use a candy thermometer because there is a target temp of 165, and it said that it can take up to 15 minutes to get to 165. So that's the goal. And then at that point, we want to, once it gets to 165, we're good to go because the eggs then have been cooked and they're safe. Safe to eat without any of the issues with potential salmonella or whatever that you run into with raw eggs sometimes. So now that there's like tons of it, I can go a little bit faster because it's not going to make as much of an impact on the thermal mass because the mass, all of the mass has been heating up, so I should be able to pour a little bit more quickly. I understand physics, not food science. So now we're getting to the end. There we go. Okay. So that's that. So now what we can do is we can set this candy thermometer in there. You can see where we're at. Hope that this thing works. Well, it's certainly not moving. Get out the old meat thermometer. You know, use the wrong thing for the tool, or the wrong tool for the job. Let's see. Turn that on. Fahrenheit. Okay. Wow. This thing heating up? Guess so. It's just way slower than I thought it would be. Yep, it looks like it might even be accurate. Because it's actually cold right now. So I guess I didn't leave that at room temp long enough. I really don't know that I want to turn it up too much. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up to 4, and we'll see if it's got a ways to go yet. I'm guessing I might cut this video more than I normally do. Normally I just let it go, but I don't know that I want to make everybody wait for as long as this is going to take. Interestingly enough, this does not call for cinnamon, which I always put cinnamon in my stuff that I want to make taste like eggnog. pumpkin pie. I like cinnamon in that. So a little bit interesting that there is no cinnamon at all in here. So I'm obviously going to make it according to the recipe, and then maybe add some cinnamon later. But this is all nutmeg all the time. Okay, looks like we're getting up to 80 now, so it does look like this thermometer is working. So it's just taking a while. Yeah, it's a little cold in the house right now. I think it's showing 65, which is always kind of strange, but it's just the way that our house is. The kitchen's always the coldest room in the house in the winter, until of course the oven's going, and then it's one of the hottest rooms in the house. I guess that's pretty much every house though. Are we getting anywhere? Okay, and this is saying once we get it up to temp, we've got to put in 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of vanilla and then half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and then you have to cover it for 3 hours. So we're gonna have to sit and wait on this anyway to let it sit and thicken up. So come back and take a look at it after that's done. It's been way too long. 15 minutes is definitely not overstated. It took a lot longer than that. I'd say, I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't know, maybe if you're looking on the video, maybe it'll show down here in the clock. But anyway, it's just now getting to 160. I moved it up to 4, and then I moved it up to 6 for just a little bit, and it's definitely taken a while. So I just had it on 6 for maybe a minute and a half, but it's still just now over 160. We're supposed to get to 165. So I probably would recommend, if you're going to sit and stir it, I would recommend going ahead and turning it up a little bit more. I put it on this big burner because I wanted to make sure I had all the heat, coming, and so anyway, obviously like lower heat, like 3, not high enough at all on this thing, and especially if the milk is cold, like mine was cold still. That's not a good thing. Of course, room temp right now is 65, 68 degrees or whatever, so leaving it out in the 65-degree room isn't going to warm it up nearly as quickly. So anyway, looks like we just hit 165, or almost 165, so I'm going to leave it on there for just a second while we put in the 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So, teaspoon. So we're going to do 1, 2. If there's a little bit extra vanilla, that's good. I like vanilla, so extra vanilla is not a bad thing. And then we're going to put in half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. With a crap ton of nutmeg. Alright. I guess that's kind of the point there, right? Okay. So do that. Go ahead and stir it up. And now we should be right at 165. Perfect. So we're just going to get that all stirred in good. I'm going to let it sit on here for just a second while I'm stirring it. It's not going to hurt anything. So that smells really, really, really good. Now, one other thing that it says is that it's supposed to be able to coat the back of a spoon. And I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that. Because if I put this spoon in here, it's kind of coating it, but it's not like super thick. So I'm guessing that I probably actually need to let it cook down even more, which kind of seems crazy. It tastes delicious though. The nutmeg definitely masks some of the flavor of the erythritol and the Splenda or whatever. I guess I didn't use Splenda in this one, I just used the erythritol. So which Swerve is what they say, but it's Swerve is just powdered erythritol. So, and I definitely don't get that, any sort of granularity in the flavor. Yeah, it's getting up to 170 now, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it down to drop it down to 2, because at this point I'm just cooking it off. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then all you got to do is cover it up and stick it in the refrigerator for 3 hours, and let it chill out. And then we're going to finish it off with some actual whipped cream that we're going to fold in. So we'll do that in just a minute. So see you then. Okay, so it's been overnight. I left it sitting in a pitcher, the eggnog sitting in a pitcher. The rest of it, it's kind of gloopy, which is I guess what you want. But I'm going to go ahead and stir it up a little bit, because I think they probably would. Anybody that's wanting to drink this is probably going to want it to be a little bit less gloopy. It's looking pretty good. And it says we need to put in, the last little bit is to put in the whipped cream and powdered sweetener. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and because I only need half a cup of whipping cream. So we're going to put a half a cup in here. Let's see how much that is. Half a cup. Alright. And then we're going to whip up the old magic bullet. Get us a container here. And it says we need a tablespoon of swerve sweetener. And swerve is powdered erythritol, so we're going to use erythritol. I can put it in the right thing. This is still granulated, so it's not really like a powder. So I'm going to go ahead and pulse this a little bit, let it hopefully get chopped up a little bit more. Get it a little bit more powdered, so it's a little bit less granular. There we go. That looks pretty powdery. And we're just going to dump that guy in there. And then we'll use the spatula, get all the creamy goodness out of here. It's kind of bizarre because when I was a kid, my brother and sister were allergic to milk, so we never had milk in the house, and here I am making things out of heavy cream. Very, very not something I was eating as a child. So, anyway, let's get that kind of stirred in a little bit. Obviously, it'll get kind of mixed in itself, but let's help it along at least a little. Okay. It's not balancing very well. Alright. So this has got to sit until it whips. So we're going to wait for the sound to change. Put this stuff away here. It takes a little bit for this to cook up. I really do like the magic bullet though, because the cleaning is so much easier. You can throw everything in the dishwasher. While that's flipping up, this thing will need to fold in, and anytime you fold it, I'm not going to be able to fold it in here, so I guess I'll just pour it out into this bowl. And you can see it's nice and thick. Okay, so it's done. You can hear the difference. So when it's running free, that's when you know it's done. So go ahead and scrape this out, get it folded in. Well, I think I'm just going to pour it right back in here, so I guess I don't need to scrape it too much, because if there's a little bit extra, it'll just mix in good. Okay, so there we go. And I'm really not sure why this is a thing where you want to do the whipped cream like right before you serve it. I honestly have no idea. So if you have any thoughts, you can leave them in the comments. That would be fine. So we'll get our whipped cream. And we want to fold it in, so we're not going to want to use the whisk anymore. So we just want to stick this in here, and we're just going to, when it talks about folding it in, the idea is to you don't want to get rid of the air in here. So you want to kind of fold it over the top, kind of mix it through very gently, which I'm not real good at gentle. See if this actually folds very well. It's soupy enough that it's not really mixing like I'd expect it to. It's not like folding it into like waffle. One of the waffle recipes I used for years, even before I did the low carb thing, called for egg whites to be folded in. But that folds a lot different than this. I'm not really sure exactly how this, into soft peaks and gently fold into the egg mixture. Yeah, so not really sure if you're supposed to have chunks or not. I would guess not, but I don't know how long you're supposed to do this. Once I can get this out of here. I use the magic bullet on a regular basis to make myself a whipped cream dessert, which you can see on the channel elsewhere, where I put random things, strawberry protein mix and chocolate protein mix and mint protein mix and just chocolate and just peanut butter and all kinds of crazy stuff. Whipped cream is very versatile, and it can give you that nice creamy dessert kind of texture. Now you got to be careful, and I've definitely run into some issues where I'm eating too much of it, because it's still a caloric thing. You still shouldn't eat too many calories, but it doesn't spike your blood sugar is the beauty. That's the reason it's beneficial when you put non-sugar sweeteners. But it doesn't change the way that the calories work. So, which is unfortunate. I wish we could figure out a way to make that happen. So, or you could turn a switch on and just eat for fun, as opposed to having your body turn it into fat. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and try this out. Not really sure what the best way is. I think I'll just dump it in here. And splorch it all over myself. You can see there's still lumps in there. Lumps of the whipped cream. But it'll be a lot easier to pour into a glass from a pitcher, obviously. So we will do that. As I keep splattering this all over my shirt. Alright. I need to get a mixing bowl that doesn't weigh 300 pounds. Okay. There we go. Just kind of mix it a little bit more. Alright, we're going to call that good. Now we're going to try this. I really hope it's good, because man, I love me some eggnog. Alright, let's get a cup. Let's get a small cup. Don't need to drink a ton of it. Here we go. I would say the proof is in the pudding, but it's not pudding, although it looks kind of like pudding. That is delicious. And it tastes like eggnog. And it's nice and thick. You can see on the sides of the cup, it definitely is adhering to the sides, and I'm getting that coated throat feel. That's a good time. It's honestly not as sweet as I expected it to be. But it's not super eggy either. It tastes like eggnog. I mean, eggnog obviously tastes a little bit like eggs, but it's not as eggy as you would expect. That's a lot of work, but that is a good result. I have to say I'm very happy. I'm definitely gonna be making this again. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.